My name is Sandy Adomaitis, the social media director for the Page International Screenwriting Awards, and your host for the Writers Hangout, a podcast that celebrates the many stages of writing, from inspiration to the first draft, revising, getting a project made, and everything in between. We'll talk to the best and the brightest in the entertainment industry and create a space where you can hang out, learn from the pros, and have fun.
We're rolling.
Hi, I'm Sandy Adomaitis.
Hi, I'm Terry Sampson.
Terry, It has been a long time since we've been in the studio together.
That's right.
About a month, do you think?
Yeah. Christmas came and took all our time.
How were your Christmas and New Year's?
Lovely. Really great. My daughter came in with her husband, so we hung out with them.
Oh, that's nice. You were going to tell me something about Final Draft, you said.
Oh, well.
What happened to you during the holidays with Final Draft?
You know that apparently computers are not forever. I'm not sure if you know that. That sometimes they just die.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it just would not come to life. I'm pushing all the buttons.
It's the deepest fear of all.
Yeah, I'm plugging it in, I'm unplugging it,
Yeah.
I'm pushing all the buttons. I'm pleading with it. That was the saddest part of it, people. You don't want to see a guy doing that.
No, there's no dignity.
No, there's none. And so we went to the good people at Apple, the Genius Bar, and we brought it in, and they did the same thing I did except for the whimpering. And then they said, this CPU is dead. And I said, I know what that means. That's not good. They said, no,
It's like the alternator.
Yeah, it's even worse. And so they said the alternator, which is now part of the story, the alternator would be a $500.
Get out of town.
Yeah, $500 to have it fixed. Of course, that's ridiculous. And so we put it off. Then I decided to replace it, which I have with this really great Mac Mini, and my heartfelt thanks to my nephew who helped me get this. Derek
Yay for
Crass.
nephews.
Yeah, he's the greatest. So it hit me one morning. If you're going to write a script, you often use software to do that thing.
Yes, and what is the number one software used by entertainment professionals?
Final Draft.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something funnier, but I couldn't. No, Final Draft is
Final
the choice.
Draft is the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I have that. It was given to me as a gift from my daughter who said you should write stuff. Isn't that sweet?
Yes.
So I remembered you get only 2 instances of the program.
Right.
And so now this won't start up again.
You've lost not only your computer,
right,
but a very expensive software.
Yes.
Very important, expensive software.
Yes.
Are you making fun of me? Am I being weird?
No, I'm reliving the darkness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I write to the folks at
Email, text.
Yeah, email.
Email. Okay.
The good folks at Final Draft, and I don't hear from them for 2 or 3 days.
What are you asking them? Is there...
I said, I have this problem.
Okay.
I have lost an installation of this forever. This thing will never see the light of day.
There are many writers out there who have had this problem.
Yeah. 4 or 5 days go by. I don't hear from them. And so I write them again. Now, my other computer had to have a big reinstall, and I lost the other installation of that. So now I have none. And I said, I can't write anything in Final Draft anymore. Where can we go from here? Help. And another 4 or 5 days goes by, right? And so just a couple days ago, I picked up the old laptop and I said, can you just start up one more time for your big pal Tear? And I pushed that button and nothing happened. It just was blank. And then I said my wife would have a plug in her office. So I walked over to her office and I didn't talk to her assistants about seeing her or anything. I just bolted in like some, heavy duty.
Like you were married to her.
Yeah, or a power player. I like think of me that way.
Okay.
And so in I went, and then I plugged it in and pushed the button and nothing happened. So it's really bad.
Okay.
And then I said one more time, and I'll just forget this. I pushed the button, and it started up. 3 was the charm.
It's a 2024 miracle.
Woo! I couldn't believe it. I quickly uninstalled it, so now I have one.
MacGyver.
I got it uninstalled. And really all it has to do is communicate over the internet to the good folks at Final Draft, and they'll say, oh, this doofus has uninstalled something. Great.
Okay.
We'll take account of that.
So to explain to the people out there that when you purchase it, you only have 2 downloads.
Yeah.
But if you take it off your computer, you can put it on another computer.
And I have heard since this incident that people might have it on, if they only have 2 like me, they might have it on 4 computers, and they just uninstall it and reinstall it during.
Great. That's a great tip out there for
Yeah.
people to know that you can do that with
Yeah.
Final Draft.
So at this point, I'm so happy that I've saved any of them, but I started thinking, wait a minute, I have a really old backup of my other computer. Would there be an installation on that? And guess what? There is. And I boot up on that drive.
Right.
I immediately uninstall it, and I'm dancing around the room.
You got 2 Final Drafts.
It's so great. I'm back to normal. I'm back to the startup, right?
Okay.
And so I felt like I wanted to write the good people at Final Draft and, tell them. I always feel like I want, when somebody's has something broken and I'm supposed to fix it,
right?
that if they call me back and say, hey, by the way, that's fixed itself, I'll tell them, oh, great.
Close the ticket.
We're
ticket. Good.
Yeah. So here was my note to them. Hey, folks, it looks like I got the 2 installations back! ! That was to show my enthusiasm. My laptop came back from the dead long enough to undo the install. That was just luck. I found an old backup version of my Mac Pro, and I was able to uninstall that. You can toss this uninstall issue in the trash. I'm good. Thanks, Terry McCarthy. I didn't want to use my real name. No, I said Terry Sampson. And that was the end of that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But I heard back from them.
Oh, they wrote back.
Yeah, they wrote back.
Did they say, what did they say?
You almost said, did they say thank you? And that would not be the case. Here's what they said. Hello, Terry Sampson. We'd like to hear what you thought of your interaction with the Final Draft support team. Take a moment or 2 and let us know. I never heard from you guys. You know that, right? You didn't say, oh no, we feel horrible for you. Nothing.
Terry, I'm so angry for you. So they basically want you to rate them for helping you when they did not help you.
That's what they would like. Because I bet that their job has a lot to do with the feedback they get. And so they're not getting any feedback from mine because they didn't give me any feedback. I need the feed too.
Final Draft, I want to say I'm disappointed. I am disappointed in Final Draft. They should have contacted you, told you what to do, and also maybe paid you for figuring out the technical issue.
And if they were to even write a letter and say, sorry, but that's the one thing we can't fix, I would go, well, that sucks, but I would accept it because that's their rules.
Exactly.
But nothing leaves you floating, and I don't like to float. So, yeah, I'm not really happy with them, but their software's great.
Yeah, nothing beats them.
No.
We're not happy with them. Speaking of not happy, back in episode 21, I told the story about finding the perfect writer's room during the age of COVID. And the way that story ended was the writer's room went virtual because the showrunner came down with COVID and we had to go virtual. We got a season 3 and the room is in person.
Oh.
So I had the pleasure of setting up the writer's room. I am the showrunner's assistant on this project. I used to do a lot of work as a showrunner's assistant, but I gave that up. I went into retirement, but this showrunner is very important to me and I wanted to go back and help him. And also the money helps me. The writer's office is all set up. It nearly killed me. I cried at work on Friday.
Really?
Yes. It's been a long time since I've cried at work.
Was it a public outburst or did you go to the ladies' restroom and cry?
Both. I was sitting at my desk. My boss said something to me and big fat tears started rolling down my cheeks. I was at my limit and he didn't know it.
What did he say? What you call this a desk? I mean, what would have done it? I suppose.
Oh, do we get free coffee from Starbucks? and I couldn't.
You just went, I don't have any magic left.
He does not understand that everything I do takes so much mental acuity because everybody's saying no to me. And for instance, I was told that the overhead lights, those horrible, fluorescent lights?
The fluorescent, the big long tube things.
Cannot be turned off. We always have lamps all around the writer's room because you want, and windows, and you want...
an ambiance for writing.
Those fluorescent lights will kill you.
That's for accountants and the correct numbers at the end of the day.
and for prisoners and for probation officers.
Because they need to be reminded how bad they are.
Exactly. So you get lamps. You have to. Usually the writer's room's pretty big. You need like 10 lamps, but it looks nice. They feel good. So we had those sensors. So all in the suite that you turn off the light, but as soon as you moved, the overhead lights would turn on. So I wrote a very nice email to operations saying we would like to turn off the overhead lights, and of course I get an email back saying. Impossible to do. We cannot turn off the overhead lights. We can unscrew the light bulbs. Would you like us to unscrew your light bulbs? Also, please note there are some safety lights that always must be on. Now that really upset me because you're giving me a dig with the safety lights. I know safety lights can't be turned off. I don't even know where these safety lights are. Also, it's impossible not to be able to turn off the overhead lights. So I go on YouTube, I find out how to do it, and I send it to them. And lo and behold, just like the final draft, they say to me, "Hey, Sandy, guess what? It can be done." Seriously.
We just figured it out.
We just figured it out. By the email that you just sent us how to do it.
We read it, and then we knew.
We knew we could do it.
So let us tell you how.
My intelligence is so being insulted this whole time.
Yeah.
So my boss doesn't know what I go through to do a simple task. Also, I think why this was so upsetting to me setting up this office at this particular time and why I'm telling you, because I thought you'd be interested in how a writer's room is set up, but also I was up against the holidays. We started the writer's room on January 8th. So I kept trying to get things moving, and everyone at the studio told me, we can't do anything because you're not moving in for a month. Okay. And then it became, we can't help you with anything because it's the holiday. And then it became, we can't do anything because it is between the holiday. So,
boy, and then after the holiday, I can't see him doing anything then.
So what am I to do? I kept working, I kept emailing, I kept figuring things out. They wouldn't let me go to the suite till the lease was signed. By the way, we introduced them to this suite. We told them about it. I'd already been there, but they say for legal reasons. Okay. How does furniture get there? How does the copier get there? How does the coffee maker get there? How does the internet get there? They gave me no time, so I just worked between Christmas and New Year's. Guess what?
Happy holidays?
They don't want to pay me.
Oh, I think it's double pay. Don't you get double pay while you're working at Christmas?
Well, I didn't work on Christmas Day.
Well, you didn't say that out loud.
I didn't work on New Year's. I worked.
Yeah, but that's the holiday, though.
I worked a couple days between Christmas and New Year's, and I only billed them for 6 hours. They do not want to pay for that. I worked 4 days between Christmas and New Year's. Okay, this is where I need your help. They don't know who I am. They don't know that I kept a national treasure alive on my watch. They don't know that their very top show, I was in the home of that showrunner, and I could tell you what's in his underwear drawer, but I will never tell anyone because I have ethics. I don't lie. By the way, in that top showrunner, access to his financials. Because when you do what I do, you are
his extra hand.
Yeah, and I worked for his wife. I did not work for him. I was in the home. I was like a house manager assistant, but I had complete access to everything. And I'm not saying that in a braggy way. I'm just saying that when you do that kind of job, you have to be really good at it. You have to be very trustworthy. You can't mess around. And when they're accusing me of padding my time card, they don't know who I am.
Right.
Is it wrong? Am I beating my head against the wall to maybe expect a little humanity from them? To maybe go, gosh, look at her resume. Look at what she has done. Is she really going to steal $900 from us? Am I being Pollyanna? I would like to hear your opinion.
What I find is that under these big companies, remember that the people that keep a dime from somebody, that's their win. So they can go back to their bosses and say, I saved you guys 10 cents today. And like, oh, hey, great. Right? Yeah. But the way to do it actually is for them to leave their desk and meet everybody that they're working with.
Nice.
So they come out and they say, hi, how you doing? They give 15 minutes. They bring you a coffee. And the two of you talk for 15 minutes. And you can get the roll on somebody very quickly.
Right.
And then they might stop by your boss's office and ask how long you two have been working together and what other shows. And then all of a sudden they get it, right?
Right.
First of all, they'll know she's done this for years and years and years.
Yeah. For example, with regards to the lease, when I was saying is the lease signed, I would check in and I would get messages back like, we told you we will contact you when the lease is signed. And then I wrote, I will continue to check in when the lease is signed. That's my job. And then they wrote back what a lease is to me. Now, has anybody heard the name John Davis, Davis Entertainment? When I was a baby, I was reading contracts for John Davis.
Okay.
I made John Davis a lot of money. Now, does that person know that about me? And I interrupted what you were saying, but still.
Well, that's why they should look into it.
Second,
Yeah.
Don't lecture me about what a lease is.
Right.
And that until both parties sign it, it's not viable.
Right.
That to me is, I don't want you to bother me to do my job. So I'm going to say something that belittles your intelligence. Am I being too sensitive? I asked you a question. Now I'm going to ask you another. Can we go off that track and into this?
Sure.
Am I being too sensitive when they explain a lease to me? Should I just roll my eyes?
Well, because you're a very creative woman. And so whenever creative people sort of are backed into something stupid, you give them a freebie. I bet I'd give them a freebie too. And so the first thing I would say, I'm very well aware of what a lease is. And then if you wanted to be a little bit more specific, you could say, I've been in this position for the following shows. You can assume that I've done this a few times. And if you want to get together and chit chat and get to know me about this so that we work more smoothly together and you know more about me and I know more about you, this will be really, and I'm just like you when it comes to this money. I didn't want to work during Christmas. I like to have my time off. Right. But it came to a point in which I had to. Right. Or this doesn't happen. You don't get your show.
They backed me into that window, then didn't give me any support.
Right.
In that window.
That's when you say, I had to come through with this, and I feel you have to come through with payment. Right. Because I would never think of asking you to do your job during Christmas and not get paid. Right. Would you?
Never.
No, I mean, you'd say to them, yeah. Would you do that? Would you? Right. Is that what? Because I think you're after a win in which you were told at one point that the budget was X and there is no money during the holidays, so don't even think about it, when in reality, you guys have to do this. Right. Because I can go to my showrunner guy and I can say, torch these people. I mean, you need to tell them what, and so you're going to make him mad. Right. What's the point?
I have to say that's very interesting that you said that, because I've always, let's pat Sandy on the back time. I have always been very aware of knowing I can wind a showrunner up. One of the first shows I worked on, the line producer blamed something on me right before taping. Not my fault. Executives were there. I think he just panicked and was trying to cover for himself. I went to my 2 showrunners the next day and told them that this guy went off on me. They called him into the office and they ripped him a new one. Mm-hmm. Now, I think if I was a different person, that would have made me happy, but it really didn't make me happy. Right. I discovered the power of winding a showrunner up in that moment. And this was a good guy. He's a good guy, the line producer. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how much power I had at the time. I tried hard not to wind showrunners up anymore because they do exactly what you said. We become very close in production. We become people's people. Mm-hmm. And you have to also be responsible and not get people in trouble just because you're a mean person. But I have to report that my showrunner is backing me up. Sure. It's backing me up 100% on this. But I don't want him to be involved in this. My job is to make his life easier. Mm-hmm. That's sometimes my life is so easy because all I have to do is concentrate on making sure the writers and showrunner can write when I'm in this position as a showrunner's assistant. And I take that very seriously. So I don't want him dragged into this. And I also feel a little, and if you can help me with this, shouldn't I be beyond this? Shouldn't I not have to get upset about these things? Is it because I haven't been doing this type of job in 8 years? It's been 8 years since I've done something like this. Shouldn't I just calm down, shake it off? Or should I be the person that I've grown into and not let anybody push me around anymore?
No, you have to have that element in there. You have to pick your fights. And my deal is the money part is when you have to pick the fight. If you're not paid for working, that's unacceptable, right? I mean, so that one for sure. The
lease.
Well, some of these
that stuff.
Yeah, what I would try to do is control my own feelings about some of that stuff and then make a stone wall on other things. I would say something along the lines. I'm really lucky to be working with this person. I've been working with him for 15 years. And this is putting together this. I'm aware of all the different things. And so I'm not going to waste any of your time on anything minor. But the stuff I bring to you, I really have to have that fixed.
I like that. I don't think I've ever thought of highlighting that. I would love to get to a point with you that if I ask you about something, it's important. I truly do try to keep ticky-tack away and solve those problems myself. If I come to you, it's because something needs to be done. But I guess we all want to be treated that way, huh?
Yeah, but this company has...
This is my second show with them. Couple seasons each.
That's on them. Yeah. And if they know that you've done all these things all along, then they're wrong.
What do you think of this, Terry? I'm very sad the way corporations crush the spirit of individuals. Yeah. I know that's been since the dawn of time.
Right.
But right now, I just feel like this corporation has its foot up, ready to just step and just keep going. They don't care. They don't care about me. They want to make their bottom line and go on their boat.
Right.
And I'm thinking too much about that, I think.
I'm hoping it will change and people will start looking at things to, the old saying, to treat somebody as you would like to be treated.
Right.
It's a really important concept. So,
to the script coordinator, I want to apologize because I hung up the phone on you last week when I was stressed. I'm sorry. Continue. You're right. I don't want to be that person, and I was.
Right. Well,
sorry.
It's hard I can't shift gears. Some people are really good at it. I'm not good at shifting gears. I carry the bad moment to the next. It's like a certain amount of people have that thing, and a certain amount of people shake it off. Right. Our friend Kathy,
Yes.
is a great shaker-offer.
Kathy Rager, who's been on the show.
Yes.
She is an amazing production
Yes.
coordinator. She talked about the strike. Yes.
She's especially great at that. I have a feeling, I'd like to think this is the case, but she's really just nice. So I doubt she does this, but I have a feeling that there's a little box where she puts these horrible things that people have done to her.
Yeah.
And when it swings around where that person needs something, that's when she would apply justice.
Okay.
Nothing horrible, but she'd say, no, we can't help you.
You just made a point that I think is really going to help me. You said some people can put it in a box or some people can go on with this in their mind. When I'm fighting, I get sad. It hurts me. Other people, I think, get energized. I'm going to win this battle. I'm going to write this email. And I get sad. I slept so much over these last couple of days. Also, when I get sad and depressed, I'll sleep. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be this person writing these emails and keeping things in my head and remembering that, they did this to me and they did that to me and now they don't want to pay me. The paying thing aside, I will fight for that. I'm going to have a new attitude going in tomorrow because it's better for me.
Yes.
Not because it's better for anybody else, because I'm helping the showrunner, because I'm helping the writers, because I'm showing that I'm so good that I got this and I got that and my ego's coming into play and I want everything to be super great so I look like the super great assistant. No, do what I can, pull back emotionally so I'm not sad anymore.
Yes. And that includes what I find for me that my dial gets turned when somebody a really bad grift, which I'm finding all the time. Let me play around with the story you had. So the person knows that I'm going to have to get paid over Christmas. But for some reason, if she saves that $900, she can tell her boss that she did this.
Yes.
And that she'll get a gold star.
Yes.
And I don't really care about her gold stars at all. It's just fair game. We have to do this now.
Right.
You've been
fair game. I agree.
We've been put in this position. We have to make this thing work. So the part that gets me, and maybe you, is that she says no, and you say, I think you're screwing with me.
Yes. Yes.
You've made me angry now because you think that you're going to get out of it this way somehow. That I'm going to work for free, and yet you would never consider working for free. So now I'm mad at you, not the situation, you.
Yes.
So that is when I go off the rails, and now I'm going to use every bit of my character or way I look at life, my, whatever other tools I have, whatever tools I have, I'm going to make her life miserable. I'm going to tell her, you listen to me. I was on this show. I worked with you on this and this, and you're acting like I don't know what I'm doing. How dare you? What's wrong with you?
Yes, I'm going to send you 3 emails right in a row.
Yeah. Did your mother not love you when you were growing up? I mean, I would go to that. I'd go back into her history. I just poked there. I would just poke. I said, you're divorced, aren't you? I was just like, if it comes to that, I'll just go, okay, I'm going to find out what's wrong with you. You've assessed me. I'm going to assess you now.
Do you return your shopping cart?
I bet you don't. You look like a lever. That's what you look like.
A lever.
Right out there. I could have parked in that spot, but your cart was left there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go
Terry,
grocery store on her.
You're right. Those all those feelings. Absolutely.
Yeah. So my wife, she would just sit there and go, well, this person's a dick.
Okay.
I'm going to skip him. I'm going over it, which is in the end how you'll get this working. Maybe already are halfway there. She skips over that person, gets paid, and then that's the end of it for her. She just lets the rest of it go.
Right.
I won't.
Yeah.
Even when I get paid, and let's say her name is Melissa. Let's say Melissa contacts me again. I'll go, gee, I'd like to help you out, but you were such an ass the last time we got together. I'm just not going to. Maybe you'll think twice about not paying somebody when they're working over the holidays.
Exactly.
But
not to mention the 2 hours I shopped at Ralph's for supplies that I didn't charge them for.
Oh. And the cart?
And I returned the cart.
What a
You know what?
great person you are.
I feel a lot better. I think I have a more handle on my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I have to do forward. And it's going to be a better day tomorrow. I hope if any of you guys out there, any of your writers, if you're just dealing with situations that you end up hurting yourself.
Pick the important battles.
Great.
Let the other ones go.
Great. Be kind.
No, not that.
And that's a wrap for the Writers Hangout. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Your positive feedback will help us keep the show going so we can continue bringing you more future episodes. Remember, keep writing. The world needs your stories. The Writers Hangout is sponsored by the Page International Screenwriting Awards with executive producer Kristin Overn, producer Sandy Adomaitis, and myself, Terry Sampson. And our music is composed by Ethan Stoller.